Good evening and welcome to the KILI Storytelling Hour. This is Brian, Charging Cloud, and we are up here from every Wednesday from 5 to 6, bringing you a story, maybe a ohunkanka, something on education, sports, and always the Lakota language. So welcome. And I know many of you are going back from work. Keep your dial right here, 90.1. And when you get close to Rapid City, switch it over to 88.7. And also all you listeners on the internet, kiliradio.org. Welcome to KILI Radio Storytelling Hour, and we will bring you some stories. We have two of them. If we have time, we'll do both of them, and we will bring them in our first language and also our second language. So welcome. And ato na nagop na kami na lichtatu ke akhe woyake is we choyake is ohunkanka. Nais na kung takuku iwong balakakta, wong spechata. Hona ha na kung le Lakota iya pikile le uhenya imkatam. Ato na narup na kabhe na lila pilaw ya. Na hukh wana wash chanu pina wana chanku na yampi. Waya anarup na kapo. Ha lila lichtat ke ha I wash teyo hapo cha. I leanorop na nakapkele na yu ha pilaw ya. Toksha ish alle toska uigalaking.
I'd like to thank KILI Radio for inviting me up here with Brian, Charging Cloud. My name is Dennis Ghost. I'm a resident of Manderson, South Dakota. I'm employed by the Wounded Knee District School, Chunkpaopi, Oiwa. Once again, I'd like to thank all the listeners out there, friends and family. I'm originally from Michigan, and I have friends and family that are listening on the internet there. And it's always exciting for me to learn more about my Lakota culture, whether it be through story, first or second hand. Anything that has to do with my Lakota culture and the Lakota language, I'm all in. So once again, I'd like to thank KILI and Brian for inviting me here once again. So thank you guys.
Yeah. This evening, I think last week we talked about the education in crisis in the United States, and this week we'll tone it down a little bit. And I was thinking about some things that I wrote down in my notes, maybe last year, maybe a year before, and this is all about we always look for methodology or ways to teach the Lakota language, ways to motivate the students. Always looking for that most effective way. And right now, I'm like bouncing from this wall to the other, and chairs are here and there. Some things are flying around.
Right.
But the one I have here, and I'll touch on that first, is I wrote down 3 things here. Teach with humor. And then the other one is this. I don't think I can do this one, but but that's really important though. Stake yourself to the ground.
To the ground.
Okay. And then the third one is culture is expressed through language. So what is that first one? teach with humor?
Part of me, from what I've gathered since I've been here on Pine Ridge, is that the Lakota culture is it's about not being so serious all the time. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of jokes, a lot of humor, a lot of banter back and forth between Lakota men, children, women, everything. And I think that's kind of what I'm getting is to find a common ground with the kids.
Yeah.
And I have personally, teaching Tatuye Topa at Wounded Knee was just to like an icebreaker.
Yeah.
But not to be so rigid and serious all the time that it basically turns the kids off.
Yeah.
Who wants to listen to me drone on about multiplication for an hour, 3 hours straight? Nobody wants to do that. So I think that to not be so serious with it, that maybe especially the Lakota children, maybe they can absorb these things with absorb what you're teaching with a little bit more of an open mind, knowing that it's not so serious.
Now, like you said, humor is our way of life. It's like when we talk to each other, we always laugh. And even if something is really turning out the way we want it to, but it's turning out the opposite way, we always laugh about it and we talk about it. And we have one of the in fact, this afternoon I asked one of the boys, I said, what does this mean to you? There was a medicine wheel. Remember that one on the wall?
Right.
And he said, what is it? What did he say? That's a circle. That's all he said.
Right, exactly.
But more than that, in there it says that you have to be strong. Yes. And you have to persevere. And then at the same time, that humor comes in there. Yes. So we laugh about it and say we should have done it this way. And then teaching with humor is very important, I think, teaching, because on the other side of that, if you're not teaching, then when we meet somewhere else, like you and I and Tanshi, Delmer, I hope he doesn't mind me, we laugh about it. We sit there and we the conversation is not very serious. Right. But it is serious. But at the same time, we're smiling, we're laughing. Yep. And that's the way we should be. We should approach the. That's the way. Children, yeah. With the children, yeah. Like I said before, that and I ran into that the other day. Was that a child was referred to me that had serious problems in the classroom. They brought him out to my building, and I turned on the TV for. Yeah. I said, we'll get 2 minutes of TV. I turned on the TV. It was like some comedy show, and this was only for 2 minutes. Yeah. He settled down. He wasn't. He was in a comfortable place. So he started cracking jokes, and that was fine. Then we kind of turned the attention towards his schoolwork, and he was more receptive. Yeah. And he was laughing the whole time. Because we would put, if you had 5 ducks plus 2 dogs, what do you have? Yeah. A mixture of ducks and dogs. So he everything. It was humorous to him. It was actually funny to him. But on the other hand, we were getting the schoolwork done. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's it's a prime example
of getting across to these kids that because they deal with other serious issues outside of the school.
Yeah, we
very serious issues that that it shouldn't be a military boot camp when they come to school.
Yeah.
Who wants to go through that? So any way that you can reach the kids is, and if they respond, that's positive. Whether you do it with humor or whatever. But I've really found that all these kids, most of the kids that I've ran into are looking for like a friend.
Yeah.
Somebody that they can put a little bit of trust into. And part of being a friend to somebody, like you just said with Brian, yourself, or Delmer, yourself, and me, that let there be humor and jokes and laughing. It can still be serious, but we're still getting something accomplished. So,
and then if we're very serious, and we use that boot camp approach, then we will turn them off, or maybe the child will think that that we have negative feelings.
Oh, by far.
And then they'll be afraid of us.
By far.
And then he won't. He'll be afraid to come into that room. So it's
that can also be a turnoff to our culture.
We'll turn our lights off.
Yeah, exactly. Or spit on the floor, or do something crazy, But and that's that's the thing, especially with the Lakota language. That you spend 8 hours a day teaching these kids that it's pretty serious business. They don't know how serious the loss of the language could be. They don't know that.
No.
But that's the thing, is that you yourself and Lillian try to convey, even with humor. Like I said, any way that you can get it done, that's a good way. It's a plus.
And like the little ones, the ones that are really concentrating on the Lakota language, we get this methodology from the. We probably have it, but we don't write about it. But this methodology comes from the Hawaiians. Do that.
Yes.
They teach the language, and then they do it through songs. And we've been doing that. And I think we've been doing that for a long time. We just didn't write it, or like the Hawaiians do. They write everything down that they do, and then so we go to them and ask them, how do you do this? And it's there. So humor, songs, and then you have to be very strong. Wachintanka.
Right.
That's fortitude.
Fortitude.
Yeah. And this one here is very hard. Stake yourself to the ground. I don't know if I can stake myself in that classroom.
Right. That's the one thing that I can come up with that to basically sum that up is don't waver in your commitment.
Yeah.
Stake yourself to the ground. Lakota warriors used to do that. In battle. Literally, I had a friend of mine that I talked to at great length about this. And I just wanted to say hi, Ron Campbell, wherever you're at right now. Hope you're listening. But we talked about that, that their lance would go in the ground, and they'd be tethered to that lance, and they would, fight to the death.
Fight to the end, yeah.
And basically, stake yourself to the ground. Don't waver in your commitment. As much as you're having a bad day or anything like that, is that you can't quit.
Whatever we do, we need to stake ourselves to the ground.
Exactly.
And see it to the finish.
And we were talking about the Lakota language last week, that another 30, 40 years that this language could be gone. So if you stake yourself in the ground and you take it upon yourself, and you don't waver in your commitment about learning the language or teaching the language, that 30 or 40 years, this language will never die.
Yes.
So that's my whole take on that. That's very interesting.
Really important.
Sentence in there that, and that's the thing is a lot of these kids right now, they're just kids. They're not really thinking about, you could go and ask 10 kids, what does staking yourself to the ground mean? Mm-hmm. They don't really care, Yeah. They could give you a halfway analogy of what that meant, but no, they really don't know. But I think as educators, school staff at any school, that really, that's a great approach to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is to stake yourself to the ground. Don't waver in your commitment.
It's commitment and it's persevere.
Yes, and that's
and well, it's just fortitude.
Fortitude.
Yep. Mm-hmm. The other one is that culture is expressed through language, and that is important too, because for me, it is very important for the young one, the really young ones, the kindergarten,
right?
And even before kindergarten, the preschool,
mm-hmm.
And it's really important that we start teaching the young ones Lakota as soon as they turn 3, even 2-year-old at home.
Yes,
teach them, and it really helps when they get into the kindergarten school. So that's, and then like when you tell them like story or you tell them things in Lakota, then you're expressing your way of life.
Right.
And that's really important. And then this stake yourself to the ground. That I was sitting here thinking about that, and I have a friend that we have a meeting at Pier, and he talks the D language. He's from Sisseton.
Right, Dakota.
And I have a brother that lives over there too, and he's a younger brother, but he talks Lakota language. He's not that young, but he said that whenever he wants to talk Lakota, he goes to this a friend of mine that speaks the D language. But
right.
We understand it. Even if you talk D or N or L, you all understand each other. But I don't know where they got this figure, but it says that the Sisseton is 9% speakers. And then on the other line, it says it's now this is a quote, 59th minute.
Right.
They're in the 59th minute, and if they don't take action now,
it's going to be gone.
It's going to be gone.
Right.
And that's where we're at now in some places. Even in the Lakota land.
Right.
That's Sisseton. That's part of us. That's part of our Ochete Shakwe.
Yes.
And if part of that's gone, then it won't be long before.
What's next?
Yeah.
Or who's next?
And I hate to be negative, but these are true. It is going on as we are speaking. And we lose, over the weekend, I went to a funeral on Friday, Saturday. And one of he was my brother-in-law, and he's a Lakota speaker. He's in his middle 70s, and he's gone. So there's another Lakota speaker in Red Scaffold that's gone.
Yeah.
So it is very important that we really think about these ways to teach the language, whether it's humor or you commit yourself, and then you express your the language. Culture through language,
yes, through
so
language.
that is very important. So we'll just eto na narup na kami na lena ganas no na konstitut na ash lena hetchet lena wana oa tuktek la engo na kap. Sa hayo lena ash no kwek. Lena wa bale se hetcha. Is woi wa ke hetcha. Is nkik chamashna ash. Hetchna lila bichota la khotia ash wana lena tuktek la khotia lena chona la lena hetchet. The other one is we wanted to announce that if anybody's listening and you have if you're from a school like we were from the Wounded Knee School, and if you're like say you're Little Wound or Pine Ridge or Red Cloud, Crazy Horse, Red Shirt, Batesland, Porcupine, or Lady of Lords. Rocky Ford. I forget one. Martin, White River, or if you want to tell us what you are doing, and that's sharing, and
yes.
That is the word in Lakota is that okichichupi. Okichichupi means sharing.
Generosity.
Generosity. And if you want to share, or if you want to let us know what you're doing, or trying to maybe for the culture, especially the language or stories, you can email us at kiliradio.org, and then when we come up here, maybe we can get a copy of it, and we can share with other schools.
You know, anything to better ourselves.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know, as not just school on school, or that should be left on the athletic field.
Yeah.
But you know, anything that has to do with our culture and our religion needs to be shared.
When you work together like a team, then you're very effective. You can do a lot of things. You can accomplish a lot of things. So we wanted to make that announcement. And right now, I've been saying, see, we both work at the Wounded Knee School. So you can even, I don't have an email address for Wounded Knee School. Maybe we should get one.
Yeah.
And have everybody, if anybody wants to share, if anybody wants to make any announcements, because we're always up here on Wednesday afternoons after work.
Yeah.
And we'll be glad to announce it for you. So we just wanted to make that announcement. But for now, you can email kiliradio.org, attention, myself and Dennis, the Kili Radio Storytelling Hour, and we'll put it over the air. And,
as long as we can
let
others,
other schools know what you're doing, and even the sports too. Right now we're getting to the sports.
Yep.
Like right now we have, I think we have Trechawa Chipi that just had some contests, and your hand game team. How did you make out at Wolf Creek?
Wolf Creek. We had some difficulty.
Oh, okay.
But but that's the thing is, with something like that, with Techawachipi Okalakichie, is that it's a phrase that a lot of people use.
Yeah.
Well, everybody wins.
Yeah.
But in this case, my kids from Chankpiopi, they did win.
Yeah.
Because we come out of there, we learned a little bit more about each other. We learned a little bit more about hand games.
Yeah.
Win-win. Win-win for me, because I'm still learning. I'm learning about children. These are 7th and 8th grade kids, some 4th and 5th graders. But that's the biggest joy is they get to compete.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this is all culturally related.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that's, to me, that's, we went, we lost our first 2 games and we were out. And they put on a very good tournament down there. at Wolf Creek.
Wolf Creek, yeah.
Very good. I have to commend those guys down there. So, that's the thing is we win either way. I'm excited for the rest of Teche Wachipi Oklukichie the rest of the year. I'm excited to take the kids to those. And it's not about T-shirts and prizes and points and everything else, bragging rights. As long as these kids learn responsibility, how to carry themselves at another school,
how to represent yourself, represent your school, that behavior.
We've done well the last 2 weeks. We were at Red Cloud and we finished 4th there, but and I told everybody that when we came back to the school on Monday. Mm-hmm. We did good. By anybody's standards, we did good. But what even made me more happy is that we carried ourselves with dignity, a little bit of honor. Mm-hmm. We didn't cause any fights. We weren't getting in trouble. We weren't running wild. Perfect, absolutely perfect kids. Mm-hmm. I was just proud of them. Absolutely proud of them. I hope they're out there listening, and we only do better things throughout the upcoming year.
Well, we have a story here. This is again KILI Radio Storytelling Hour, and you're listening to 90.1 right here on the top of the Butte, and 88.7 in Rapid City. KILI Radio.org on the internet. And the story that I got from my wojuha, my bag,
right,
back at the office, is it's the title is the Lakota language, and I did this on January 16, 2008. So I wanted to share this again. It's just a brief story on Lakota language, and we'd like to share this with you, both in Lakota and my second language. So if you want to read...
yes.
Okay.
Okay, this is the Lakota language. This was from January of 08, and the story goes, every Lakota boy or girl, man or woman, should know something about his own language. Every time you say a Lakota word, it should be thrilling to remember that very word was used thousands of years ago here in the United States. For that reason, even if you only know a few words, it should be comforting to know that you are carrying on a spoken tradition that has existed no one knows how many years. If you can already speak the Lakota language, that is all the better, because you will have even a greater thrill in knowing that you are carrying on this tremendous tradition. And it should also make you even feel prouder of yourself. If you speak the language, you will be able to help those who either do not speak or who speak only a little of the Lakota language. Once in a while, you will find a younger Lakota here and there who seems bashful about using the language. If you know the Lakota language, you should not be bashful about this at all, but be proud of it, because there are very few people in the United States who can speak 2 languages. To be able to speak 2 languages is a great privilege. There is an old saying that every time you learn another language, you gain another soul.
That's true. That's really true. Hayantok shale Lakota oblakinte. Kale Lakota iapikile. Le Hokshila na wichinchala, wichasha na wia. Yuha. Le iapikile. Soleapikte. Nako iapishnash. Na uspeča cha na wo naish wo yukcha na soleakt. Ona watohan Lakota ia hanta. Kiksiayo. Le iapik le hekta ka kokto point re. Dona waheha le makhamam kumpi le na umpi. Ho he'u. Nako le wagla ko yaki ishnash. Ishnako watohan la iayash. Kiksiayo. Tohantan ki le o unki le iapi ki le. Tohanta li la wanio to talena. O unki le. Honanakun lakhotia o yaki hata. Helila washte. Honaha kiksiayo. Nakun le. Tohanta ki o unki le uki. Le lakhotia pi ki le golaha unkupi. Hocha. Le hoch lakhotia pi shnena. Oi chakiayo. Na watohan shnanako ganat khechawanji. Lakhotia ukihiash. Is lakhotia chinkash. Ganas ishteche seche. Ist wishteche. Holena oi chakiayo. Honanako tanko le wopasi. Le makhochma elok umpikile. Oya chonala yapi num yapi okihipi. Ojakisiayo. Lakhotia inanaku le waji lehan washichu yapi. Le nas nuhata kiksiayo. Ninupa yechaja. Hoechet. And the source of this story comes from the Modern Indian Psychology by John F. Bird in 1971. And I think that's really true, this last part of it. There is an old saying that every time you learn another language, you gain another soul. And also the research on the like when you learn another language, like the Blackfeet, the immersion that's very successful. The students that graduate from there, they go on to college, and they show leadership, and they have I think it's another one was character.
Yes.
And they do real well in life as citizens because they know how to speak their language and the English language, and that really helps them.
And that's the thing is going back to the first part of what we talked about is culture is expressed through language. In the Blackfeet, they know their language. They have a cultural background that they can go to.
Yeah.
That they have another soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
For lack of better words, is that they have something else that they can fall back on.
Yeah.
Another strength.
Another soul.
Right? That's.
So right now you have two souls.
Right.
You have your language, and then you have the English language.
So that sums basically sums that those paragraphs there. That basically sums it up in that last sentence.
Mm-hmm. And also, there's one part in here. If you speak the language, you will also be able to help those who either do not speak it or who speak only a few words or are trying to learn.
Right, to build others up around you.
Mm-hmm. And there's some that may be bashful,
mm-hmm.
or some that are still ashamed. And we still have that.
Yeah.
We have speakers that are ashamed to speak the Lakota language, even if they're fluent. You can go to Walmart and meet two people that can speak Lakota. They'll be talking in the English language. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what and I said that. I had said that before when we were with Rosalie Little Thunder. Was that jealousy?
Yep.
That word doesn't really exist in the Lakota culture. Mm-hmm. Jealousy. That's not something that is even really talked about. But in this case. When I was up there with yourself and Brian, or Delmer and Dolly Red Elk and Rosalie, to hear the Lakota language being spoken right in front of me, I was jealous. Mm-hmm. Because it's like there's a club that you want to be a part of that club, but the thing is that I have to work at it, just like everybody else.
You're doing pretty good.
Yeah, thanks to. I'd like to tell Karen White Butterfly. I'd like to tell her hi and thank you, Tui. So
that's good, and that's this jealousy is called wonawizi.
Wonawizi.
Yeah, wonawizi. Today we have sometimes because of that. Sometimes not the way you. Said it, but there's other ways that hurts people. And then the other one is wawichi haha, I believe. That's another one. You make fun of people, and maybe this one here, maybe like someone makes a mistake, then we laugh about it.
Right.
And then how they do that hurts that other person. And there's another one called. Wokipaji, and that's rebel or you oppose someone that's, that person could be doing really good things in the Lakota or the culture, and then through not working together, we have this opposition.
And create an imbalance there.
Yeah. So we're not really working in one direction. Mm-hmm. So those things can hurt, but you're all right. You will. You're very ambitious. You're serious, and you're highly motivated, and you're going to speak language. And right now, you're learning your culture every day.
Right, exactly. That's where I'm behind in so many aspects, but just trying to play catch up now. That that's one thing. As far as the jealousy, and I've only met generous people that share stories that want to point me in the right direction as far as our culture goes. So I'm a very lucky person as far as that goes.
Here's another short story. I think we have time to do this one. It's called Tiwahe. And, Tiwahe is family.
In our cultural.
In our culture, yeah.
Our cultural map.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So if you wanna. That's called Wahokpi. That
Wahokpi,
first one.
Right.
Wahokpi.
Wahokpi is the beginning of Tiwahe. It is a foundation of Oyate.
Oaye, yeah.
Relatives, which is Otakuye. Otakuye is very important, and each Tiwahe member looks out for each other and never leaves anybody behind. The Lakota word for this is Iha
Kichiktapi.
Kichitapi.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's
Language, land, traditional government, and self-sufficiency are all part of the Tioshpae concept. Tiwahe is the Hutkan root of the Tioshpae and the will of the people. Oyate Tawawashaki starts here. Each Tioshpae has a personality and spirituality. Through this faith is why we live for a long time. Tiwahe is where respect, Wawo Ahola, and generosity, Waunshila, starts. Patience, Wachintanka, and bravery, Wo Ohitika, are part of a daily life within a Tiwahe. Wachekie, prayer, is always the center. Help me with that word?
Hochoka.
Hochoka of the Tiwahe. Wowichala is faith and believing in oneself and is another important virtue of the Lakota Tiwahe. The family establishes a home for all family members and especially the children. This is called Onakijin, shelter, home, in Lakota, a place where one can always call a home. The common man, Ikche Wichasha, always thinks ahead for his people, Otakuye, through life's journey. This is called Ochimani Kaji.
Okay. What's that? Tiwahe. Tiwahe kile le wahochpi kile ta tiwahe ki chagab. Honahe le tiwahe kile hutkha le oate o aye kile. Hona wota kuye ke he ihaka gloha manipi. Cheki cha manipi. Hona tohone tueni ekton japsni. Tueni he ihaki chiktapia. Cha maji kitana honkeshni hata okiap. Cha hena ko okichapia. Hona iapi kileto hata gloha no makhoche. Hona na ko wopre. Hona iechin kala tueni apcheshni iglo api. Hona na ata tiosh paekle na hecha se to hata ki upi. Hecha le tiwahe ki le hutkha api. Tiosh pae hutkha hecha. Hona oyate ki le na le oyate thawash ake alki le heta hau. Hona le tiosh pae ki le nana ko yuha tchokchapi. Tchosh le nitchokcha na ha matchokcha. Yuha tokeshke wiungcham hena akesha jash. Hona hana ko taku woichala hapi ki le na. Hona le woichala ki le na ko na tokeshke hapi ki le una ko. Ihani li la tcheha ha. Wichong. Hona tiwahe ki le taha le wo hala ki le na'u. Naish wa onshila. Naish wa chinthanka. Naish ohitika. Le na petu yohila. Le o onki le lo kanja ki le na wanka. Na heta won spechu. Hona ohinia wocheke ki le. Ohina le hochokaya. Tiwahe. Hona le wo ichala ki le nana ko yuha. Yo hilalena le wash akap. Hona ha le tiwahe kilenana ko le yuha tukte el onaki jomaji yohapi. Ohele hona ha nako le ikcheu chashak lena o hinya oyate Toket ke amani pikina, tokesh ke pikina, he otakuya. Lena le mani pikile, le ichi mani makara pikile na togata ke ohenya wikcha. Ke api, yelo, ole tiwahe api. That's a good little story about
yes.
The tiwahe is the hutkha, that's the root of the tioshpaya. And then tioshpaya will be the families make the tioshpaya. Right. And then from there we have all these, we call them virtues or beliefs today. And they live that life. So if I live that life and then the younger people learn from your actions and how you so you don't sit there and say, okay, this is respect and this is generosity and this is fortitude. It's how you lead by example. Right. Yeah. So I think that ties in with that. Culture is expressed through language. Yeah. So that's okay. That's Wanale mazashkan shakpecha emkigna kana toksha ke inupake ha apetu yamene ke ha mazashkan shakpe kuna ha takuku ake Yuna yung tiakta cha dona na gupta na kapena lila pilang ya. Echtatu kileta o manipo. Na lila yukpia echtatu maji lila washte cha yo hapo. Ale machpia at hakte mecha. Na kule Kili Radio kile lila wopila thanka hechai yelo.
Thank you once again to KILI Radio and Brian Charging Cloud for having me on the show once again. It's always a pleasure. I learn more every day. So thanks for the opportunity, and I'd like to wish my daughter Brianna Grace a happy birthday today. She turned 2, and I would like to say happy birthday out there to my friend Tammy out there in Batesland. I hope you have a happy birthday today, and to all my friends and family out there in Manderson. Thank you guys for everything, and I'm learning more about this culture and this language every day. I wish, I hope, not that I wish, but I hope that more people can learn more about this culture and this language as much as I do. Mm-hmm. I talked to a couple people, and they said, if the only way you can make change is to do it yourself.
Yes.
So that's kind of taking it upon myself to not be jealous and looking on the inside at 2 individuals speaking Lakota. I want to be that third party, and they're speaking right with them. So, Washte. So once again, thank you, KILI, and thank you, Brian. I really appreciate it.
Washte.
Washte. Tosha.